Hello everyone and welcome to Working Title, the show where we talk about books, movies, and everything in between. Now, you might not know this about me, probably because I've never brought it up, but I like to write. And I have a crap ton of small little excerpts that I wrote, so I thought I would read some of them for you. So I hope you enjoy this episode. This first one, some of these titles are going to be kind of cringy. I suck at titles. Look at the titles for my episodes. But this first one is called Winter Wonderland. And I'm just going to read this. I'm not going to do, different voices. So I hope you're okay with that. "Princess, wake up," says a familiar voice. "What do you want, Fang?" I question, turning around so that my back is facing him. "I have a Christmas surprise for you," he responds, rolling me over, my cherry red curls covering my face. "You know I don't like Christmas. Now let me sleep," I exclaim, rolling back over, pulling my pitch black blanket over my head. "Sorry, Ash, I can't do that," Fang states, ripping my blankets off my bed. He speeds over to my bedroom door and throws my black combat boots at me, the black shoes hitting me in the head. "Put your shoes on, let's go," he says, opening my bedroom door. "You're the worst," I exclaim, slowly putting my shoes on. "Yet you haven't kicked me out of the house," he answers with a cheeky smirk. "Whatever, let's go," I retort, walking towards him, bumping him on the shoulder as I walk out the door. "Can I look yet?" I ask, trying to pry Fang's hands off of my eyes. "Now," he says. He removes his hands from my face to reveal a snowy forest clearing, small animals scurrying around us. The look of the snow covering the trees and snowflakes falling elegantly to the ground is almost mesmerizing. I look at Fang briefly in awe, my eyes widening at the beautiful sight in front of me. "You may not like Christmas, but you do love winter, you freak of nature," he says, his voice switching to a joking tone towards the end. I lightly elbow him, pulling him further into the clearing, snow falling onto my hair. Fang's raven black hair littered with snow. I look at him again, a bright smile covering my face. He grabs a handful of snow and throws it at me. I dodge before grabbing an even bigger handful, throwing it at him, hitting him directly in the face. We continue throwing handfuls of snow at each other, running around the clearing. The comforting cold air and the snow around us remind me of when I was a child, getting into snowball fights with my siblings. If anyone knows about my past, it's Fang, and he just managed to make this small, snow-covered clearing a winter wonderland. God, I forgot how cheesy that one is. Tough choices. Here we go. "You're really trying to help June out, aren't you?" Fang questions while I dig through my blood freezer. "Yeah, well, I kind of had to figure it out myself," I respond, still digging through the bags. "You're still mad," he states, obviously upset by my statement. "How could I not be? We haven't spoken about it at all," I retort, slamming the freezer closed and turning around to look at him. Why can't we just move on?" Fang inquires, crossing his arms. "Because you're still failing to understand what you did wrong," I shout slightly. "I saved your life," Fang yells, uncrossing his arms and placing his hands into his pockets. "And I wish you didn't," I state simply, tears pricking my eyes. Fang steps back, shock coating his face. He runs his hand through his hair. "I should have died that day. I didn't want to be a vampire, and you knew this. You turned me anyway, and left," I mutter, fighting back the tears. "I thought that was the best option," he says, sticking his hands back in his pocket. He starts rocking a little, the tension in the room only thickening. "That wasn't your decision to make," I utter, looking up at him, stray tears falling. "Ashley, I thought there wasn't any other option," he justifies. "So you picked the option that involved throwing me into a life I never wanted and leaving," I say, frustration slowly building. "Ashley, you don't understand," Fang starts. "Whatever, let's just hurry up and grab June some blood." I cut him off, turning around and digging through the blood freezer again. "Ash," Fang pleads, "we can talk about this later," I state, grabbing the bags and going upstairs. Woo! I'm crying a little. Okay then. Take a hint. Hiya, Windmill. I stayed happily, wrapping my arms tightly around her waist. Ash, not here, she says, slapping my hands. Right, sorry, I exclaimed, stepping back slightly and putting my hands up. Sorry, it's just... She starts, turning around so that she's facing me. Jess, it's fine. You don't have to explain, I say simply, leaning against the lockers. I'm sorry, she utters, entangling our fingers together. Jess, really, I get it. I remark, my wide smile being replaced with a more subtle one. I disconnect our hands, crossing my arms over my chest when the smell of the football quarterback walks up to us. Hey, Jessica, he says, leaning in on the lockers opposite Jessica. Hi, Brent, she responds, her voice sounding slightly agitated. What are you doing tonight? He questions, ignoring both her tone and me. I had plans with a friend, she says, not looking at him. I feel a slight sting in my chest, but I ignore it. Nope, you and I are going on a date, he states, a proud smile still on his punchable face. I start flaring my nostrils, trying to keep my eyes from going red. She said she was busy, so why don't you go flirt with a girl who shares your IQ? I exclaim, my voice slightly deeper. Jessica lightly places a hand on my arm, turning her head and giving me pleading eyes. I back up a little, still giving Brent a death glare. When he finally notices me, I see him recoil slightly before going back to his proud state. God, I would love to punch his smuck little face. Down, girl, I was just asking her out, he says defensively. She said no. Goodbye, I retort, my voice still in a deep state. Ashley, Jessica simply states, her voice having a hint of force. I'll pick you up at 8, he exclaims before walking away. The bell rings and Jessica and I depart, heading to our respective classes. Jessica, can you get the door? I hear her dad yell from the other side. I hear shuffling before the door opens, revealing the heavenly angel with dark purple hair. I'm going out with Ashley for a bit. I'll be back by 10. Jessica shouts back at her parents, immediately closing the door afterward, not giving them time to respond, and probably object. You were early, she says, leaning into me as I place my arm over her shoulder. I wanted to catch you before your friend came, I retort, pulling her closer to me. She smacks me lightly, feigning offense. You're not just a friend, she responds, jumping up a little and kissing my cheek. Just checking, I state. Now what's the real reason you were early? She questions, stopping us and moving so she's standing in front of me. A certain high school quarterback? I reply, holding her hands. Are you jealous? She questions, raising her eyebrows slightly. No, I just don't like him, I answer, looking to the side, avoiding eye contact. Whatever you say, she exclaims, kissing my cheek again and going back to her spot next to me. So what movie are we going to see? Jessica questions, still leaning against me as we walk. What was the name of that movie you wanted to see? I ask, knowing full well what it is. I just love hearing how she says it. The Unholy? She questions, a hint of excitement in her voice. I swear she has a bigger fear tolerance than the literal immortal monster. Careful, Ash, or people might think you're a romantic, she teases. Only for you, I respond, kissing the top of her head. While we're walking, I catch a familiar scent, removing my arm from Jessica's shoulder before my brain could register what the smell was. I get a quick wave of nausea as we get closer to the theater. Hey, are you okay? Jessica questions, looking at me slightly worried. New blood, I say simply, covering my face, trying to at least make the smell die down. Hey, Jessica, an ear-grating voice states as we get closer to the entrance. Great, nausea and annoying assholes. I went to your house, and your parents said you weren't home, he states, slinging an arm over Jessica's shoulders. Mine and Jessica's bodies tense up in unison, the bloodlust and nausea making it harder to contain my anger. I stick my free hand into the pocket of my hoodie to hide the fact that I'm clenching my fist, my pale knuckles turning even whiter. Jessica must have noticed because she put a hand on my arm gently. So what do you say we ditch this place and I can take you to dinner? The jock says, his arm still around Jessica's shoulders. I was going to see a movie with Ashley. Jessica responds, motioning to me. Now why would you do that when you could go out with me? Brent asks. Because she has an IQ higher than 5. I retort, my hand still covering my face. Ashley, calm down. Jessica pleads quietly. What exactly are you implying? Brent questions, as if it wasn't obvious. I'm saying you're a moron, I respond, trying to keep my voice at its normal pitch. Jessica starts pushing me back a little, trying to increase the distance between Brent and me. What is your problem with me? He questions defensively. I despise you, I answer, removing my hand from my face. Brent finally removes his arm from Jessica's shoulders. Anger takes over and I punch him in the face. Jessica holds me back and leads me into the theater before I can do any more than that. I probably broke his nose. Ashley, what were you thinking? She says to me. He was getting a little too close, I respond, trying to avoid eye contact. I stick my hands in my pockets as Jessica sighs in frustration. You know what? Let's just go see the movie and we can talk about this later, she says, pulling my sleeve to the counter so we can get tickets. I'm sorry, I whisper when the concession worker turned around to get us our popcorn. It's okay, she replies, entangling our fingers together. Whew! Okay, I'll admit that one is probably my personal favorite, and I think it's one of the newer ones that I've written, so it's a lot better in quality. Alright, last one. I just want to help people. Honestly, I just want to help people, I say, slightly tugging on the cuffs, keeping me at the table. I'm finding that hard to believe when you just confessed to 5 murders. The police officer in front of me shakes his head in disappointment as he responds. Does it make it better if they were all criminals? I question, a slightly uncomfortable smile going across my face. He gets up and walks out of the room, exasperated. I guess that's a no. Alright, that's all I have for today. Hey, I have a lot more of these, but if I read them all, this episode would go on forever, and I edit these myself. So, I hope you enjoyed. If you want to keep... if you want to hear suggestions, if you want to give suggestions on episodes, talk to me, or get updates on episodes, you can check me out on Reddit at AshleyMarieWT. And yeah, that's about it. I hope you enjoyed. Till next time, peace out. On to the next one, bitches!